Today we are having a webinar on design principles, and our joined by dignified person.
Sir, excuse me, there is a lag in your voice. Am I audible?
Yes, madam, you are audible.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sir, please turn off your camera so you get better bandwidth.
Today we have a webinar on designing principles. We are the resource person for today is Dr. A. Shanti, Assistant Professor Head, Visual Communication Department, College of Arts and Science, Salem, Tamil Nadu. And she'll be today speaking on designing principles and what essentially is design and what are the that that you have along with design. Yeah.
Shall I continue?
Yes. Yeah. You can start. Yeah.
Yeah, very good evening, one and all present here. I'm Dr. Shanti. I'm here. Today. I'm going to give you some. I'm just going to throw light on what design and why we need design principles and where we can apply these design principles. Oh, we might have a question like why a journalism student or anybody who is into communication should know about design, which will be the basic question because we need design. We expect design in everything. We started seeing design in everything, like start from our day-to-day lifestyle. We have design in every aspect of our life. So design plays a major role in presenting something, or if we need to give something visually pleasing, or the communication, when a visual communication need to be more effective, we have to have follow these principles. And you can also ask me whether it is necessary to follow these principles. What are these with design and what is the principle behind it? Design principle is nothing but the basic grammar. As we have grammar for our language, we have we have structured something to make a design more presentable and more effective and more simple and more easy to understand. So for that, we are following certain grammar. Those grammars or grammar is termed as principles, and we have certain things that are connected to these design principles. Before getting into the topic, I would like to explain you what design is itself. What can be called as design? So what we generally think design as it is like something which is attractive, something which is if you are presenting a paper, if you are doing an assignment, we generally decorate our paper, or we generally decorate the room, or generally some kind of decoration is called or termed as design. That is actually wrong. Design is something which is effective, in the sense which is understandable and functional. So when something is put into functional, then we call that as design. For example, if I'm creating a product, so I have some idea within me, so I'll be developing it. I'll develop the prototype, I'll develop the blueprint of it. But still, when it is applicable, or when it is used by a viewer, or when it is used by a user, then that final product, we call it as design. So this design is applicable in all the fields we are into now. So for journalism students, we have this design is applicable in publishing, or even in any logo creation, any kind of print or visual, or even broadcast concepts. We use these designs. So design is a basic thing where we learn about the step by step process, how a product or a visual or any other things that we are going to present to the public or to the audience, uh, how it can be appealing, or how it can be presented in a manner that it has an effect over that particular visual. So that is why we are studying design across our subject, be it a visual communication, be it a journalism. We are into communication. So the major purpose of a communication is to make the deliverables more understandable. So here we are studying about the design to have a very good knowledge over a design to make a very effective communication. So here the communication is can be of anything. It can be of visual communication. So we are going to deal with only visual communication today. So how we are going to present something to the audience. So in that we have certain principles, certain things. What are all these principles? These principles and elements are nothing but we have categorized this design, grammar of this design or structure of this design into two categories. One is like the basic principles, how a sentence can be framed. That is called as the basic grammar structure. So the same way how a design can be framed, how things can be kept on a paper or kept on a screen. So that is called as design principle. And we need some elements. For example, if we need to cook something, we need certain ingredients, right? If it is going to be a recipe, we need certain ingredients like salt, pepper, or rice, anything. So in that way, for a design, we need certain elements. Those elements will build a design into a proper structure. So then after having these elements, we'll fill these elements into a proper in the appropriate places and in appropriate sizes. So these size and placements are connected with forming a sentence structure. So where we can get a proper output of a design. Now the first thing is like when we look into the principles of design, we have almost 7 principles. These 7 principles are the base of any design, web design or print design or any kind of design you as of visual design is taken into account. These 7 principles are very important. One is the balance, the other one is the rhythm, emphasize, contrast, movement, harmony, proportion, and scale. So let us see one by one what the balance is, rhythm, emphasize, contrast. All these 7 have its own quality and its own purpose. Let us see one by one. Here you can see an image where the first image can be observed as uh, pebbles are kept on both the extreme ends of a slab. So where it is balanced. So the balance is something where we are putting the things in a proper way where it can be balanced. When we see something, when we visualize something, or when a print or when a brochure, when a paper, when an ad in a paper, or when an ad in a TV, when a camera angle is considered, these balance is most important, where all the elements, all the characters, all the subjects are placed in a proper position, where the whole space has been filled in a right way. Like it has been filled balanced. It has been balanced in the right way, as it has uh, if you see, for example, this balance, when you draw a line across this, you can divide these two into 2 equal parts. So when we divide this kind of things, we call it as symmetrical designs, where it is balanced in both the ways, both the sides. One side is also equal to the other side. When we divide it, it has equal amount of elements, equal amount of when we talk about design in a print medium or design in any medium, visual medium, the colors will be balanced both sides, the text will be balanced both sides, or the elements like circle shapes can be balanced both sides. So when things are balanced rightly, equally on both sides, then we call it as symmetrical balance. The same thing here, it is also balanced in the right way, because they have given equal spaces here in the corners, and they have made the picture to be this elephant image to be in the center, which means it is placed very placed at the center to balance each sides. When it is divided into 4 sides, it is balancing on all the sides. But the problem here is, when we divide this, we cannot find equal the same shape or same amount of image present here, or same thing present here. We cannot divide this equally, because this has a different portion and this has a different portion. So when it is divided this way, this cannot be called as symmetrical. When things that are balanced but are not equally which has the same elements, or which doesn't have the same element, or which doesn't have the same proportions of things which are present in all the 4 corners or 4 sides, then it is called as asymmetrical. So asymmetrical is something where balance will be taken care, but still it won't be, it will not be having the similar elements on either side. So that we call it as asymmetrical. And moving on to the same balance, so they have given here a few examples of balance. This is actually what we have seen in the previous slide. And here, when we take the butterfly, it is exactly the formal balance where it has equal, the elements arranged equally on both the sides. Can you see this? So here also they have 2 wings here and 2 wings here. The same pattern is followed, the same pattern is followed, and the same color is followed. When we cut and flip this thing, we can have this similar kind of reflection over the other side. So we call this as formal balance, and this could be the bilateral symmetry, where we have equally proportionated or equally balanced image that can be flipped to the other side. And we have one more balance which is called as radial balance, where the arrangement of the elements will be in the form of a circular form. So here you could see all the elements are equally proportionated. See, we have the same kind of elements repeated across this image, but still it has been arranged in a circular way. So this we call it as radial balance. Sometimes we follow radial balance in our text, and there are a lot of creative things that happened or that made out of this symmetrical balance. Symmetrical balance generally gives you a more creative way of working. So you could see a lot of symmetrical things in youth-related apparels design, or even in many logos. We could see this radial balance in a lot of corporate logos. So this gives you a feel of wholeness. So each and everything will have a psychological impact over it. Principle design, and it all connected with our brain, which gives us why we feel something very pleasant, and why we feel something which is very good design, because it is totally connected with our brain system, which is totally connected with our psychology. It plays a major role with our psychology, where we can feel that it gives you a, it attracts us, it gives you a pleasant feel. Then we call it as it is a good design. But still, the success of any design lies in the effectiveness. How well we understand a design keeps us makes the design very interesting. So here we can have some more symmetrical balance, where we can divide the Taj Mahal here into 2, so that we can have the same kind of flipped image the other side. Here it is also again this twin towers. Both the sides are the same thing. They are equally proportionated, and they have equal space on either side. So these all gives you a feel of balanced structure. So which has equal amount of elements on either side. So again, this thing also, this can be applicable in our print in a way that things are balanced in both the sides. So there are images, there are designs which gives you this balanced effect. So this balanced effect will give you a completeness, where we will be feeling very filled. So the spaces will be occupied equally. So everything will be arranged in a way that it has an equal amount of importance. So this gives you a feel of completeness always. So moving on to the radial balance, we could see this radial balance in many designs, and flowers are the examples, and succulents here, staircase, and this is a top window covering of we could see this image in any churches or any buildings, remarkable buildings. So this is again radial balance, where the images are repeated again and again, but still it gives you a feel of circularness. So this is again one more symmetrical inverted symmetry. This we can see this scenery can be seen anywhere, where the image is not flipped the other way around, like it has been flipped horizontally. So again, it gives you a feel of wholeness, where the complete image has equal it is equally proportionated, equally balanced on either side. And this is a simple example, or playing cards. And this is again one example, which is about again a photograph which has the same image flipped on the other side also. So this gives you a balance. This gives you, when I see this particular image without this, this is not, this couldn't give me, this cannot give me a complete completeness. So we have two things here. So it is balancing on either side. So this is again the example of asymmetrical balance where it is placed similarly, but the balance seems to be very unequal. Where here it is a big proportion of someone is sitting, and here two small proportion of someone is somebody is two of we could consider this as kids. So here sitting. So this cannot be equalized here because the space over this head is not has been, it is not being filled, and here again one person's space is empty. So this is again an asymmetrical balance where things are not balanced equally. But still, when we consider as a whole design, they have given equal importance to both the things. Here they have given the same placement where this person is sitting, and they have given the same placement and same place for these two pictures. So the same way here also, here one stone is kept, and here multiple stones, 4 stones are kept here. So but still they have given balanced, when we divide this, they have given equal place. The placement is equal, but still it is not balanced because of the amount of element or amount of things that are kept in the image. So this is again few example where we could have balanced structure. So you can think about your design. So here you can see the asymmetrical balance. So the same images is repeated, but still these kind of images can be done. After this class, maybe, I don't know, if you're interested in working on this, better do a project on this. Take a paper, just keep it very simple, make it some A4 sheets, uh, draw on the sheet whichever all the maximum simplified images only in black and white. So this will give you some, maybe you can use colors for the necessary things, not for everything. This will give you, use only basic elements like line, dot, and organic shapes, something. These are all the basic elements here. The triangle, rounded square, and these lines are very basic elements that they have. The placement of the elements gives us a feel that it has some sense of design. Here they have given a ball. It is very simple to create, but still it gives us a balanced feel. But though it is not symmetrical, but we could have a proper design over it. Can you see the arrangement of this thing? They have used only the squares across this particular. If you consider this as the space given for this, they have arranged it. They have balanced it in the right way, but only thing, they have increased the shapes of this, increase and decrease, they have shown variation with the shapes alone. The same thing, they have used minimal elements here, but still they could have a balance over here. When we divide this, we can have a proper balance on both the sides. We can even see this image as a balanced image. So we can divide this, but still the arrangement of elements varies with this design. So which actually gives us a feel that it is an asymmetrical balance, which is balanced in the right way. So this is how our designs are created. This is how we need to play with our elements when we design something, when we design a logo, when we design even for a page layout, anything. We have to design in such a way that we should break the rules that we generally follow, and we have to move toward things. Here they have this asymmetrical balance has given a feel of movement. Can you see this? They have just reduced the size of the line and color of the line. This gives us a feel of movement. We can see something here. This point is our emphasis. So this is how they are making difference with designs using the elements and principles. And these are some asymmetrical balance again. So they have given. So it is all based on it. It will be helpful for taking photographs and even for any design. If you get a chance, just look into the IIT's brochure design, what they have done. That will give you a feel of all the principles that have been added. Also, they have broken the principles again, and they have created new principles, all that. So that would be a good example of all these design principles, how they made it, the color they have fixed, the contrast they have made, all that, everything. Even the balance is created using the colors. One side you are using a warm color, the other side when we are using the same warm color with a different tone, that is also a balance. So balance is created in all the possible ways, can be created using all the possible ways. So we'll have a look at it one by one. At the end of the session, we can have how we can uh, mix and match things, and we can create new designs also. So these are textures. So these are arranged in a balanced way, but it has a different tonal value and textures, colors, everything. So this gives you a feel of completeness. This is filled. The whole space is filled. Here also, the whole space is filled, but still the balance is asymmetrical. But still, they have made the same things repeat again, and we divide this or divide this. We can have all the. We can see all the space has been filled equally. So this is how a balance is created. When the space is filled equally, we call it as balance. So this is again using balance using colors, which I was talking previous slide before. Like where the colors has been complemented each other to create a balance again. See here, they have balanced this two colors here and here. So when we divide this, we can have this opposite colors and this thing here. So this is how they were created in a symmetrical balance using colors. Again here, this is completely a different color. This is a warm color and this is a cool color. So this is asymmetrical to each other, but still they have made it a balanced structure. So where this is filled completely and here it is filled completely. The same thing is also applied here. The same again here. They have used two complementary colors here, green and orange, and they have used the same pattern over here, but they have filled the whole space. So this is how we can fill the whole space and create balance. So there are a lot of examples given here for layout. Can you see the page layout design here? Where they have balanced a particular page using these column structures. So they have divided this way, and this way, but still it is balanced. And here is also it is balanced. Here it is balanced. Here it is balanced. They have followed a rule. For example, this height is exactly here and here, here. So they have followed something uniquely and uniquely across the designs. So here they have broken the rule. They have made only three structures here. So still it is balanced. It is complete. So it is up to us to divide something very creatively to create some balance. No space should be given, should be left empty or attended. So here again, when you see this is a symmetrical balance where it is equally divided. This is asymmetrical. This is symmetrical, radial symmetrical. All four sides are equal, but we could see a circular pattern. So they have followed a hierarchy where the hierarchy is like they have made 1, 2, and 3. So they have some rules to follow here. So I could have 1, 2, and 3. So they have followed some kind of pattern here. And here they have the arrangement makes difference. And here the contrast is something adding some extraordinary new thing. Here everything going to be a square and this is going to be a circle. This adds more value and important. The attraction lies towards this particular thing and then reading all these squares. So in the alignment, so when this alignment is completely different from this alignment, they have made some space, extra space. They have given some extra space for this alignment to make this attractive. And again, repetition. So they have used more than two elements and repeated those elements across this design. So design can be created this way. So your pamphlet, your even layout design can have anything of this kind to create or to create attraction or create a, a new form of design. So this can be applied to any design that you are making. It can be a web design, can be a layout design, or even a logo design, or even any structured design. We could apply all this and we can create our own new designs also. We can even also invent our own designs or invent our own style towards these designs when we rearrange things or when we put two or three things together. So this is again space, balance in space. they have used, when we divide this things, we can have similar things on both the sides. But here they haven't used any color or anything, just white space, white background. They have made this white background to be an element itself. So this white background is acting as an element itself. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Can I continue? Am I in the flow? Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, you are.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So here we can see the balance where we have divided, where the white space itself is acting as an element. Here the same thing. So there is nothing added to this, but we could see a phase over here. We can imagine ourselves a space here, which is again when we divide this, we could have a balance here. Same thing. The same thing is repeated here, flipped here. We have a balance structure here, but again they have not added any color to it, just left empty. This empty space gives us a feel of a color or something is put here. So this is also the same way. Again, this is repeated. This could be a very creative thing where we can see a women heel, and if you see the black thing, we can see a man in shoes wearing a black pant and shoe. So they have created some balance using the repetition and the space. So they have used two concepts here. One is the arrangement of things, placement. Placement is played in the right way. Also, the white space. The space is also played in the right way, which gives us a different feel. And then rhythm. Rhythm is nothing but a repetition of something, which gives us a feel of something is in a flow. Something is having the same kind of objects repeated again and again. We call it as rhythm. So, which has its own flow. We can see a pattern in rhythm. So we have rhythm. Rhythm has its own. We can create rhythm using repetition, gradations of colors, radiation, oppositions, transitions. So these are the types of rhythm where we have here also they have followed this image is a rhythm, like they have followed a peak going up and down, up and down. This is again gradations where it moves up and moves down. So here it is one simple thing which is repeated again and again. This is a pattern which using gray. This blue, the whole carpet is of blue, but they have shown variation with each part. Like they have light blue, lighter, dark. So they have shown a variation here. So here also the same thing. They have shown a particular variation in the lighting. So we can have a light dark, and this is again bright, and this is a mid-tone, and this is a dark shadow. So they have shown a variation here. So this gives us a feel of a gradation where it gradually increases or gradually decreases. So this gives us a feel of gradation. So here also the same thing. So the repetition of colors is made here. This colors goes lighter, and this colors when it comes down, it becomes darker. So they have given a gradations here. The same thing is created here. So this increases and decreases with the size and shape, which gives us a feel of movement. So something is here. It gives us a feel of a depth, not movement. So where something is going inside, we can feel that it is a very far long away. So this gives us a feel of a depth. So again, this is just zebra lines, which are like we can see irregular shapes that are repeated again and again. So this gives us a feel of gradations where it moved from one part to other part. So again, this is we could see this radial rhythm where it is placed, and we can see a circular image is getting repeated again and again. So we can have the feel of movement here. So this is also, I guess, circular arrangement, and everything is arranged in the same way, so which gives us a feel of rhythm again here. So even this flooring is also made a proper rhythm, and here the windows is also having a rhythm. So here it is also this the top window ceiling is also followed a rhythm. So radiation is nothing but something is diverging from a point. So we call it as radiation. So here it is radiating from here at the center point. Here it is radiating. Here it is radiating, but still we could feel a circular movement in all these things. So we could feel a rhythm. So we could feel a repetition in all this. So which gives you a feel of repetition, and which gives you a feel of movement, which gives you a feel of liveliness. So this will be created using radiations, where a point will be diverged from a particular point. So this is again opposition. So opposition is nothing but we create something exactly what we call it as contrast. Like if we are using a circle, then we go for a square. If we are using black, we'll go for white. So something is created using this. So we have circles, squares here. So when it is though the patterns are similar, they follow different types of images here. So this will also give you a rhythm when something is followed in a different way. Like the shape can be the size can be changed, the color can be changed. So any of the element would have a repeated, but will be in a different size and shape something. So can be transformed into various other sizes. So which will give an feel of opposition, where multiple elements which is directly opposite to each other will be added to the design. So again, design of opposition, where we have only simple example, black and white. So we have lot of other things of this kind. So they would have used opposite colors which are repeated each other. So that gives you a feel of rhythm, which gives you a flow, which gives us sense of repetition everywhere. So this is again followed using color. Here they have used two opposite colors, like they have used black and white. Here again the same thing is used, but still the size has been varied, and the color is also has been varied. They have shown a gradation. Also they have changed the gradation of shapes again here. The same thing is followed here. So it is, though it is opposite to each other, so here it is the size comparison is opposite, but still they have followed the same thing. This we should take as a whole example. They have followed the similar pattern, but still they have shown variation with the arrangement of these things, the lines here. So this is again opposition. So by this also we can create the rhythm for any design. So here it is transition. So transition where curved lines, all this patterns, anything, any organic shapes that will give us a feel of a smoothness will be repeated in the design. So these are all examples of where we have followed a pattern this way. So this is transitions, softness, which gives us a softness. And this is again the transition where the arrangement is similar, but the elements are different. Here also, the arrangement is similar. The elements are placed in different places. So here again, it gives, they have used only one element called triangle, a shape element, but it has been arranged in a way that it gives us a feel of movement. So the same similar thing is followed here. Here, when you look into it, you can see the fishes here, but when you see the whole image, initially you could see only the birds. So the arrangement again. So the arrangement is similar, but they have used different elements here, different shapes, different objects here. Here also the same thing. The size of the arrangement varies, but the arrangement, the pattern is similar. So the same thing here. So this gives us a feel of transition. So emphasizing is nothing but making something very important. So that is called as, we call it as emphasize, which means we are making a focal point or the composition in such a way that we are creating attention towards some particular point. Here we could see our eye will definitely catch this red color when compared to all others, because we have emphasized this thing. How we have emphasized here, the arrangement, the shape used, or everything is similar, but we have emphasized this using color. So we have used a red color. So when we have similar colors and when we make someone odd, something odd one out here, so we have made this red as the odd color here. So this odd color will attract us immediately. Our eye will catch, our brain will read this particular color immediately when compared to all others, because this has given emphasized, this has been emphasized by color, by changing its color. Again here, this green color is emphasized. So where we have similar patterns, similar arrangements, similar shape, but still we have a different color. So this color attracts us immediately when we see this particular image. The same thing is followed here. Here they have used here and here we have something differs from what is not here, which is actually the placement. Can you see this? And can you see this? Can you see this? What is the difference we can feel here is like this arrangement is flipped down. So this also created an emphasis. So when an image or when a particular arrangement or element arranged in a particular way and a particular element is alone made change, or we have made some changes to the particular element, then it creates or it grabs the attention of the viewer. Here when it is flipped, itself will give you an attention, will grab your attention. Also they have added one more additional thing here is they have changed the color of this particular element. So this has two different distinct things towards it. So it has been emphasized in two different ways, where the image itself, the element itself is flipped. That is one thing they have emphasized. And second thing, they have added color to it. So we can emphasize in either way, or even in both the ways, or we can even break the rules and we can go for try for new things, experiment new things also. Here again, they have just reduced the size of the circle, which is again emphasized here. So reducing the size will also gives you a feel of not only when we increase the size scale, the size of something will attract our attentions. When it is abnormally reduced, which will also be grab your attention. So this is an experiment. I don't know if this would be an interactive session, I would have made this. So the moment I saw this, Which one will I read? Will I read this or this? Obviously, I will read this because this is in a very bold and very predominantly written here. You will read this. So they have already told, they have read our psychology and they have said that you will read this before you read this. The point is, they have emphasized this when compared to this. When compared to this, the whole page, this is the biggest font we have here. So obviously, our mind, our brain will be activated to read this, not this and this. So this will come in a hierarchy. We'll read this, and again we'll go for this, and then we'll come back. And in between, we'll also read this also. So our first attention will be here. So this is how we need to create attention towards anything that we are producing. So we can create, this is one best example where emphasizing a particular element can grab the attention of the viewer. So here again, they have given few example how we can grab attention. For example, if I'm writing an article, if I'm writing something, if I'm writing uh, uh, column something, so how I can make it more attractive. So these are the few examples. One thing, I can make the fonts very bold. Second thing, I can make the fonts brighter. For example, if I want a particular thing to be attracted, or a particular content of the article, or things that has to be convinced or conveyed to the reader, then I have to make it brighter. For example, the font colors, I can make it brighter. I can change the style. So I'll be following a particular style. I can suddenly change the style of the subheading or style of title that will attract immediately. So adding special effects, I can add some special effects. Special effects is nothing but adding shadows, adding what do we call it as glow effect, all that. So if I add some new technique or some new effects towards um, my font or my design, that will increase the readability. So again, bordering, framing, all that, and using the negative space in the right way will also if, give you a good effect. Changing the color, changing the position, and changing the focal point will also give us. For example, if I do familiar, if I make this eye taller or brighter or different color, out of all this will be red first. This familiar will be red. This familiar will be predominantly seen here. So somewhere I could make some changes and I can make my design more interesting. So these are the points that are given here. So they have given a circular here in the design to emphasize this circle. Again here, this circle emphasizing the point of focus is here. The point of focus is here, here. So this is why we are, this is how we are creating emphasis and make things attractive. So again, how they have, this is an emphasis here. Okay. And this again here, it's an emphasis. This particular portion is an emphasis here. Here, this is an emphasis. So this is an emphasis. So this is an emphasis. So we make some changes to the regular structure, then it becomes more emphasizing. So again, the next thing is contrast. Contrast is nothing but adding two different things together. So here it is very orangey and it is blue. So this is warm color, this is cool color, completely contrasting each other. So this is how this has become, this is read more interesting, this is seen more interesting. So again, here we have only black and white. Black and white is a very beautiful thing where we can play a lot of things with black and white. So if you get time, you try your hands in black and white, which will give you most beautiful products, outcomes, whatever you call. So here we have two different contrasting things. So the same thing, this is again a complementing colors. Red and green is contrasted here. Here again, this is contrasted here. It is very simple when we wear our dress daily. For example, if I'm wearing a light color shirt, I'll go for a darker bottom or a pants. So the same thing. If I'm wearing it is again vice versa. So if I'm wearing a lighter color pant, I'll go for a darker color shirt. So this is how we are creating contrast. So here it is very yellowish and blue sky. So contrasting each other in colors. Here it is again contrasting. These are complementary colors which are opposite colors, diagonally opposite colors are placed here, but still it gives you a feel of attractiveness. So here again, this is complementing each other. These are all complementing. This is warm color, this is cool color, so which are opposite to each other but complementing each other. So this staircase is dark and this is light, so they are again contrast. So here again this is a contrast. This both the colors are contrast. You could see lot of green and red can be contrasted in many areas. So again, this is darker color contrasted with lighter color, shadows with, so this is an organic and this is an inorganic contrasted. So here again, it is being contrasted with the light and darkness. So color, shape, arrangement, everything has been contrasted. The placement, start from the placement, everything has been contrasted. They are not irregularly placed and they have been giving us a design that looks very great and good. So this is again contrasted. This color is contrasting to this is warm color, cool color arrangement. This is a proper arrangement. This is arranged. This is horizontally arranged. This is diagonally arranged. So they have contrast the arrangement and placement of the elements itself. So sizes. So this is one beautiful thing we can see how contrast small and big, small, big, small and big, small and big. So but arrangement big and small. So again this here they have made it contrasting here. So the arrangement is not symmetrical, they contrasted this way the arrangement and the placement. If I do a cross section over this, I cannot fix things in the right places. So they have different, so they have contrasted but still they have created a design. So again here, so this is different and this is different, so this is different, this structure itself is a contrast. So we can see a standing pillar, not a slanting pillar, but they have made the slanting pillars as a contrast to keep to make this design more interesting. So here again one gray line contrasted with all these lines. Here gives, see the, this could give you an illusion, this could give you an illusion. So the similar way, contrasted black and white, black and white. So light and dark, light and dark. So this is where we get contrasted. And movement. Movement is nothing but when something is arranged in a way where we can have the feel of the object is moving. Our eye will be following the object and it takes us or it gives us a feel of illusion. The object is moving here. So this ocean, this gives us a feel of movement. So here something they have arranged. So it gives us a feel of movement. So here also. So we can create lot of photographic techniques to create these illusions. So they Similar things is called as unity. So we have this pencil with varied colors arranged in a particular way. So this gives us a feel of unity. So there is no nothing is different or varied, shown varied, or nothing is different from all this. It has a flow. It has a proper arrangement here. It is arranged in a particular way. So this is called as unity. So here they have used similar colors, similar shapes, similar things. So this is unity. This is, so you can feel a unified, or similar objects, similar elements are placed in a particular way. So this is called as unity. So we can have a unity here. Here they have used only yellow as their color, and they have arranged here. This is a unity. So you could feel a color theme here. So here it is, the arrangement is unity. So they have arranged this. So they have made sequence here. Again here, this is arranged this way. This is, so they have made some arrangements which gives us a feel of equalness. So that gives us a feel of unity again. So this is again unity, the arrangement. Similar kind of objects are arranged here, but it doesn't need to follow or repeat a similar pattern or similar kind of line. uh, but also if we follow that, nothing wrong in that. We can follow, or we can even slash that. So variety is something where we are slashing the uh, arrangement. Similar arrangement won't be followed there. So here it is all similar shapes, but this has a unity that it has the same colors. This is also a circle, but it didn't follow the same arrangement, but this follows the same size but various colors. So this has a variety towards it. So it has been shown in that way. So this is a variety where all the shapes are similar, but they have various colors. Here also same image but different colors. Here it is again same image but different sizes. Same image, same kind of structure but different sizes. Here color is contrasted, varied. Also here it is straight, here it is curvy. So here again, this color is different from these things than other coins. This is again, so they have followed various things but placed in a way. They have used similar things but placed in a different thing. See here, they have used a larger opening here and smaller opening here. This is also again similar way. These arrangements are similar, but they have made this different. So they have just turned a house upside down and they have placed it. The design is made in such a way that a house has been turned upside down. So here again, proportions and scales are very important. So these are the, apart from balance, this is the one major thing which we have to concentrate. The rest of the things what we were seeing, other principles can be followed or cannot be followed, but these two things should be followed. Here the proportion matters here. So this decides the size of this particular thing, so which is less than an inch, not even in centimeters, like it could be 1 centimeter. So this is calculated when compared to the finger. So our finger is our basic measuring element here, measuring tool here, and we are measuring this. So this comparison, this scale is done using human comparisons. So there is one particular topic called ergonomics, which is a very big topic, where our table, chair, our doors are built based on this ergonomics, where it has been proportionated to the basic human structure. Because general height of human being would be 8 feet. So you could see a 9 feet, 9.5 feet door, so that a person can get in and out of the door without any hassle. So this is made in such a way, when we sit on the table, our chest portion will be just above the table, which is actually built in such a way that we won't get tired out of writing or tired out of working on the table. So this is worked, this is measured based on our human structure, and this has been calculated and designed. This table, the table which we are using, is designed based on our own structure, and they have measured that actually what we call supports, or which will give ease of use when we use a particular product. So table is one good example where it has been proportionated rightly for any human structure who are using it. And this is again scaling something big will also grab your attention. So this has been emphasized here, and this gives you a lot of meaning here. This is again here, this is emphasized here. See here, proportion and scales gives us a different feel. So somebody walking over the buildings here, so this is smaller, so this is a chair, and when compared to the chair, this is okay, but when compared to a building, this is a very large thing which is placed here. So scales and proportions generally measure based on the surrounding that we occupy. So this is balance thing, but a symmetrical balance where we could see all the proportions, small, large, but it is a very good proportion. We can see the good proportion of this thing. So this height, this height, this height, this height, everything. So this is a good proportion. We can see this scaled thing. So small, big, small, big, bigger. So this has been proportioned in such a way that it increases in size or decreases in size. So here, so it is scaled. The height of this chair or this couch has been increased. So this is a different proportion where they have slashed the rule of proportion, and they have created something very new. Here again, you can see the height of the chair, the lights. So everything has been differently proportionated. So this is again, so where they have, this is proportionately equal, but still they have made some difference towards the wall where the proportions varies, the height varies, everything varies here. So they have given the similar image, so we have to identify where the proportion is handled in such a way to create an attractive design. So here, the chair, and this chair, and this chair, all are going to be used by human being, but still they have made some proportion, they have changed the proportion of these three things, and they have created a different design. So again, this is one example. So this all the three things going to serve the same purpose, but proportion varies, and it gives you a different feel. It gives you a larger feel of a larger room, and it is okay, this is proportionate to this thing, this is very good, nice, normal room, and this is like, this is a small room, and this is okay, medium room with all the furnitures. When we have a larger thing which gives us a feel of a very bigger room. So scale is, as I said, ergonomic scale is associated with our human proportions, how we sit and how we stand, how far this how height of a door should be, how much height of a table should be. Everything is decided based on this thing. If you get time, just look into how ergonomics work through our day-to-day life. We can see ergonomics in all our day-to-day life. Starting from the mobile phone, we use the mouse pad, mouse, and the table, chairs, everything we use, doors, windows. So everything got its own proportion that is compared, that is made and designed compared to the human proportions. So normally the proportions are measured in inches, hands, pan, yard. These we won't use these measurements in our design. We generally use points and centimeters, inches as our own proportions. So we don't need these proportions, but still it is necessary to know all these proportions to calculate our point and centimeters in a right way. So there are a lot of scientists who have developed all this, and they have designed rules. I don't know whether you'll be knowing about golden rule, rule of third. Everything has been designed in the similar way that these things are made. So these are the calculation. I think if I get time, I could do with this. But let us see. If I get time, I'll do with this. Otherwise, we'll go for this. This is one important thing which we have to do. This is the golden rectangle where this is equal, but still when we divide this, how they have divided. The largest portion of the smallest portion is equal to the smallest portion. So this is a calculation. This will be seen across your pamphlet designs and everything. So this is one, again, golden rule which can be applied in our pamphlet design, web design, photographs, anything where a design will have the largest thing. So when we divide all this, we can get this thing. So this is 1, 2, 3, and we have everything here. So this is a series, Fibonacci series, where it has been followed here. So our design is greatly connected with our math and science also. So here it is the golden rectangle or the golden rule, we call it as, where this portion, smallest portion, will be equal to this when it is divided. So if I get time, I'll just let you know how things are divided here. So arrangement, golden rectangle, this is again, this is when curved this way, we get this portion. And when we equalize this, this becomes one single bit here. So we can draw a diagonal line. Again, it is connected directly here. So again, when we draw this, I can connect a direct line. Again, when I draw this, I can connect. So this is how I can connect diagonally to get a proper 5-root rectangle. So this is a golden rule. If you get time, or you just look into how golden rule works in all our day-to-day designs, print design, advertisement, or photographs, any design for that matter. If you can check this golden rule. Even our subconscious mind work on this golden rule. Even we don't know what golden rule is, but still we follow certain golden rules in all our designs. So these are all the examples of golden rule, how they have divided. So this is a great interesting history, that how golden rule is connected with the design. So these are examples. So anything, if we are doing, so one thing you have to do before you start your own design is, you have to At the same time, your pupil center from this here, when I draw a line, it will directly connect the edge of the lip. So this lip line is connected here. So everything has an interlink between each other. So that this is how our human nature, the world's nature itself is connected. So it has some amount of connection towards each things. So this is how the designs are made. So I would like to have one more.
You are not audible, Shanti.
Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Okay. So is my screen seen?
Yeah.
Okay. So what are all the basic elements of design? So we have certain basic elements. So which is the minimal element? Dot is our minimal element. You can find a dot in anything, in any design. So without dot, there is no design at all. So when we connect two dots, we get the line. So line is the next thing that we have. Even these days, dots are creating a lot of what we call revolution. So there are things which we call as pointillism. So pointillism is something where a full complete design is made using only points. So if you get time, just check into what pointillism is all about. So line, we have different types of line. We have curvy lines, dotted lines, zigzag lines, broader line, thicker line, thinner line. So lines has its own functions and effects which will have its own effect over the design. So when I have a broader line, I'll be having a broader attraction towards that particular line. So the usage of these things is comes from practice. So we have to practice designs every day so that we can have a better understanding towards elements and principles. So this is again positive and negative space, how it has been used. Both are similar, but they have used the spaces in opposite ways. Where here this white space is used. Here it is used. This space is, but it creates a different design for us. Again, scaling and proportion, we have already seen it, and patterns pattern is element where the arrangement, even you can make your own patterns out of whatever things you have. You can just simply create your own patterns and texture is nothing but when I have a tactile feeling towards a design, the moment I saw a design, and if I feel it is hard, soft, smooth, so this is called as texture. So animal fur, bark of a tree, this all gives us the feel of a texture, feel of the surface itself. So that we call it as texture. So again, we have, this is actual texture and implied texture. Implied texture is nothing but we cannot have it actually, but we can feel it. For example, when a shadow is casted over grounds, lines, so that forms a pattern, that forms a texture, but still there is, it is not actually there, but we can have an impression of it, like the shadows or something, it is indirectly shown or indirectly captured, then we call it as implied. So anything that is not direct, we call it as implied. So this is a rhythm followed, so which gives you a visual harmony. Weightage is nothing but adding light, dark, thickness, thinness, all that we call it as weightage. So balance we have seen already. So these are things which I've seen already. I just want to have something. 1 minute, I just check it out. Okay, this is the thing I was looking for. Can you see the slide now?
Yeah, it is visible.
Yeah, okay. These are the lines. So the lines are converging to a point. So this lines gives us a feel, just lines, but still we can feel something, some strokes. It has so it has a feel of movement here. This colors gives us meaning. So these are just lines, but still gives us meaning. So these are the basic element. Without line, we cannot even start any design at all. So these lines have different uh, different differentiation towards these lines. One is vertical line, horizontal line, diagonal lines, curved lines, straight lines, zigzag line, curved lines. So these lines will always create an emotions. When we change lines, when we use different kinds of lines, which will have each lines, each things will, each elements have its own emotions connected towards it. Shape is nothing but so form. Before that, we have shape. I think I forgot the shape. Shape is nothing but when two lines are connected, when it forms a shape, rectangular, circular, or even inorganic organic shapes, any non-geometrical shapes like amoeba. These also called as shapes because they are connected. The lines, when they are connected, we call it as shapes. So without shapes also we cannot do any designs. In any design you take it for matter, you'll find at least 2 to 3 shapes. A form is nothing but the 3D form of any shape is, we call it as form. So here it gives us the depth. So the depth of this particular shape, zigzag puzzle. So this is again, we call it as shape. So we also use shape in a very minimalistic form to create a effective design. So space is nothing but the amount of area covered for a design. Here the space utilized here is only this and this. These are all empty space for that matter, or else they have used the whole space or left these spaces empty. So space can be handled in two ways. One is negative space, the other one is white space. Both are more or less equal, but white space is nothing but when the background is white and we have not used it, but still we feel there is particular shape exists on the white background, then we call it as white space. Negative space is nothing but any kind of colors or anything that is left unused, but still we could find a particular shape or image over that negative that space. We call it as negative space. This negative space and white space, when it is handled properly, we could create a wonderful designs that will stimulate the brain, and it will easily in the sense it will attract the attention of the viewer, and it will make the brain to be very active and work on what has been said in that particular design. So again, texture, just we saw texture is nothing but it gives us a feel. So I can feel this as projecting out of a wall or something. So this gives me a feel of tactileness, this gives me a feel of projection. When I feel like when I touch this, I could see that it is protruding out of this wall or area surface, or in the from the background. So this kind of feel is called as texture. Shape I have already said. So shape is nothing but any closed lines. When lines meet up, we call it as shape. So colors are the very major thing that has to be handled very carefully when we are designing something, because color itself have its own psychology towards it. So we use certain colors, and colors is connected with the culture. So as far as India is considered, we have certain colors that are very ritual towards us, when very emotionally connected towards us. But the same color can be contrasted with other western countries. For example, we don't prefer black as a ritual color, but still western countries, they prefer their wedding dress in black. Men used to have a black coat or blazers in black colors, but we are contrasting in culture. So color has an impact towards its culture and psychological perception. So it has a lot of meaning, it has its own connectivity towards each and everything that has been displayed. So color is a very major thing. Even we can talk about colors for more than 1 hour, which has its own importance. That is why color is played in a way in even in advertisement, in logo creations, in branding, everything. Color plays a major role. We can see a lot of colors like red, blue, green, and yellow are used in many of our logos, or even traffic signals and other important things, because red is one particular color which attracts easily, because it has the shortest wavelength. So which that is why we are using red as a traffic light signal to stop, or to for any symbol which is created for emergency danger. For that purpose, their warning signals are created using yellow color. These colors attract people easily. They have its own psychology. Many scientists has read and proved that colors speaks a lot than any other elements. So value is nothing but adding lightness or darkness to an object. So when I add when I remove color, or when I make the image more lighter, then I'm adding the value has been I'm showing differentiation towards the value. So these are the things basically that are required for any design. So we have seen almost all the designs here. So these designs, these are things which should be carried. This cannot be just taught. This is just a basic thing. What I have done today is like ABC of what a design is all about. This comes when you practicing every day. So what you have to do, you have to start see design in all each and everything you do. So start from your work, start from your answering, start from your handwriting, or even the dress you wear. So design lies everywhere. You have to start observing things. You have to read things around you. You have to look around you, and you have to see all the hoardings around you. You have to read the pamphlets. You should start decoding the design by yourself. Unless until you do this, you cannot have a proper understanding towards design. So these are the basic things how a design can be interpreted, or how a design can be carried out, and carried out for effective communication. So this the same principles are used even in a communication aspect also. So it is all up to us to decide where we have to place this, where how we can make changes, and how we can relate things, and how we can arrange, or how we can implement these design towards our own deliverables. So hope I have covered all the parts of design principles.
Yes, ma'am. It was a really engaging,
Any
session.
queries or anything, just you can ask me.
Yeah, no, yeah. So it was a really wonderful session on, principles of, designing. So, yeah. So we thank you very much for your, spending your valuable time for your, to engage us in this webinar. Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. We are, officially we are ending this, session webinar
Okay,
right
before
now.
that, I just
Yeah.
before leaving, I just want to give a note of thank.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. It is a very great pleasure for me to be here on this day to deliver what I know about design. If we
Yeah.
get time, or if we get connected physically, if there is a possibility of connecting physically, then I would have greater. I could give you greater. I could share more content on design, and I could even uh, make all of them work on the design, and we can see some output. But anyhow, thank you for
Yeah.
the opportunity given. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah.
Thank you so much.